Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Nick Tan Chats. My name is Nick Tan, and on today's episode, I'll be chatting with you guys about Allout Magic by Steve Shufton. So hi again guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for showing up, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for spending some time with me today. So it's been a while since I've done a book review on my channel, and on today I will be talking about a book. Alright, this is something called Allout Magic that is released by Steve Shafton. Okay, now this is, well, it's more of like a manuscript, I think, because, well, it's printed like I think A4 size, I think, and it comes at 42 pages. Along with the manuscript, there will be a little package that is taped to the back, all right, on the inside cover, and this package contains 4, well, special cards, all right, with which you will use to perform the effects that are outlined in this manuscript. So there are 4, well, main routines that are discussed with you inside this manuscript, and all 4 routines are different and yet similar, because they all share one thing in common, and that is they are all card prediction effects. Okay, and I will work my way through the manuscript with you, and along the way I will describe in greater detail, as to what happens in each of the routines, so that you can kind of imagine how each of them plays out. So the first effect is called X marks the spot. Okay, and in this effect, what happens is you have a boxed deck, and you tell the spectator that inside this deck of cards you have drawn a little X on the back, all right, on the edge of one of these cards, and you will get back, to this deck in a while. The deck is placed in full view on the table. You introduce another deck of cards. This deck of cards is then shuffled by you, okay, and then handed to the spectator. Okay, from this point on, it's hands off. You no longer need to touch the cards, right? The spectator is then invited to deal the cards face up, one at a time, onto the table. Okay, and she's asked to stop at any point she likes. All right, so for example, she stops here at the 4 of hearts. All right, and now you pick up this deck that has been here the entire time. You spread the cards on the table immediately, and it is seen that in the middle of the deck there is one card with a little X on the edge, right? And then when you turn this card over, it is seen that it is to the 4 of hearts. So a couple of points about this particular routine, right? X marks the spot. First of all, the deck that you give the spectator, right, the one that they handle, is a regular deck. Okay, so it can be any deck that you like. It's regular, and so after this particular routine, you can continue performing with the deck as well. All right, any other routines that you so wish. Then secondly, the deck, the prediction deck, all right, where you spread the cards on the table and the little X is seen on the edge of the target card, right? Well, this deck, it's regular as well, okay, but you will do need to do, well, a one-time prep. Okay, and it's a really simple thing to do. Anyone could do it. Just follow the instructions that are outlined inside the manuscript, and once you are set, you can perform the routine like for as long as this deck has its life, for the life. You can perform the routine for as long as this deck lives. You can perform the routine for the lifespan of this deck of cards. So the next routine is a routine called Inexplicable Revisited. Okay, and for this routine, you will only use one deck of cards. Okay, only one deck is in play, and along with this deck, you will also place, well, one of the cards from the manuscript, all right, on the table. Okay, and it's inside a little envelope, a sleeve of sorts, okay, that will come with the manuscript as well, so that you mention to the spectator is your prediction. From here, same thing, you can shuffle the cards, hand the cards to them. They now are invited to deal the cards face up, one at a time, and they are asked to stop at any point they like again, all right? And so they stop at, let's say, they stop at the King of Clubs, and then from here, you reveal your prediction, and it is also seen to be the King of Clubs. Okay, so that is the effect, and it's kind of like almost like an open prediction, right? Kind of an effect. Okay, so again, the deck that you're using for this routine is regular. Okay, in fact, most of the routines that are in this manuscript uses a regular deck of cards. All right, so again, once you're done performing this routine, you can move on to anything else that uses this deck because it is just a regular deck. So this is probably my favorite item from this book. And I think Steve has, well, combined two principles, all right, two concepts really nicely together. And I think they work together really well, all right, to create this kind of an open prediction sort of an effect. So if you think about it, right, one card is on the table from the start, you know, well, it's in a sleeve, all right, but it's still on the table from the beginning. The deck of cards, you know, is shuffled by you. The spectator sees you shuffling the cards. The deck is handed to them. They deal through the cards and they stop anytime they like, you know, and then, you know, the prediction card matches the card that they stopped at. So it's a really fair looking prediction effect, I think. So the next routine is a routine called the reversed card, and in this routine you have two decks of cards that are used. In this deck, all right, you tell the spectators, you know, it's your prediction, you have a card that is reversed in the middle, all right, and you set that aside. You'll get back to it in a while. You remove the other deck of cards, and same thing, you, the performer, can shuffle the cards, all right, and you hand the deck to the spectator. And from here again, they are asked to deal the cards face up, and they are invited to stop anytime they like. So for example, they stop on the Queen of Hearts, for example. Okay, and then now you pick up this other deck, spread the cards on the table, and they will see the Queen of Hearts in the middle of the deck. So this has got a bit of a, you know, invisible deck kind of a feel to it, but again, you know, this deck that you have the spectator handle is ungaffed, all right, it's a regular deck. And the other deck, well, there is some clever prep work, okay, and you know, the use of some of these cards that come with the manuscript, okay, some very, you know, clever way of you know, applying the concept, I think, so that it gives you the freedom, I think. Well, because if you think about it, you could, you know, just use a regular deck of cards, or even without the deck of cards, right? Have a spectator name a playing card, and then just go into, you know, an ID, right? Where you spread the cards and then you show one card reversed in the middle, right? Using your everyone's favorite ID, right? But what I think this allows you to do is it enables you to have a very clean look of, you know, the card is, let's say, the 10 of diamonds. Okay, you pick up this deck, remove it, and then when you spread it on the table, the 10 of diamonds is seen in the middle. All right, so it has that benefit of just, you know, no handling, just remove the cards and spreading, and the card is there. So those are three routines that I discussed with you inside this manuscript, and the fourth item in the book is something called Shafton's birthday card trick, okay, which I will describe to you right now, all right, or what happens, and I would like you, you know, to imagine this playing out, okay, because I think it sounds really impossible, you know, and I believe the impact on a participant, you know, will be quite, you know, it's quite baffling as well, all right. So what happens is you have a spectator. You know, you have a deck of cards with you, and you have a spectator just tell you their birthday, right? So, you know, they describe their birthday to you, and for example, let's use mine. I'm born on the 9th of October, and then you say, all right, great. You hand the deck to the spectator, and from here, same thing. They are asked to deal through the cards one at a time, all right, face up, and they are asked to stop anytime they like, okay? So they stop, let's say they stop here, all right? And then, you know, you remove from your jacket pocket, I suppose, a little, like a sheet notebook, you know, like a little booklet, you know, made up of like 12 pages, okay, because each page has got a month, all right? And then you tell them that, you know, for the month of January, you know, there are like 31 days, and each day has got a different card in it. You ask them to look up their date of birth, all right? So for me, I would flip to October, and then I would look up the 9th of October and see what card appears there, and maybe I see that it says the 2 of diamonds, right? And then I turn over the next card, the card over here that I stopped at, and it is seen to be the 2 of diamonds. Okay, so the spectator stops on the card that appears at their birthday. So I hope I described that effect well enough, you know, for you to kind of imagine how it plays out, all right? But as you can imagine, you know, I think it is quite a baffling effect, right? Because a spectator just names their birthday, you know, they deal through the deck, they stop on one random card, and it is the card that is listed, you know, on their birthday, right? So I think anything to do with their birthday, you know, plays strongly to begin with. but the conditions at which, the card they stop at matches the card that is on their birthday, I think makes this a really fair looking routine. There will be some prep work that you need to do, all right, to prepare, the stuff that you need to perform this routine, okay? And it will take some effort on your part, okay? But I think once you've put it together, you've got a routine that will play really well, and I think it will play really strongly as well. So what I like about All Out Magic is, seeing how, Steve actually puts together methods to create effects that are consistent, all right, with his vision about how these effects should play out, right? Because there are certain considerations and certain, conditions, I think, which are important to him, and that is why he has done things a certain way, all right? And I've always enjoyed, reading the work of performers and creators and seeing how they solve problems based upon the conditions that they deem important, right, for an effect. And I think in these approaches that Steve has put together, right, has a good balance. Okay, and what I mean by that is, for card prediction effects, right, of this nature, there are always like two aspects to the method, right? One being the selection process, of the card itself, and then next is the reveal, right? So it depends on the kind of conditions that you wish to have in each group, right? So for example, if you would like the selection process to be really fair, the spectator can name any card in the deck, for example, or they can stop at any card. The deck must be freely shuffled by the spectator, it can be freely shuffled as well. Then you could predict it using an ID, right? So if you want the selection process to be really fair, you have to compromise here and really gaff it up, right? Or the other end is, if you want the reveal to be really clean, then the selection process has to be controlled somewhat, right? So it depends on where you wish to put the compromise to accomplish these sorts of effects. And I think Steve has come up with a good balance, all right, of somewhere in between that is still veered towards the conditions that he feels are important to him, all right? And so he has dropped certain conditions as well, right? Because maybe they aren't important to him. To me, maybe it's important that the spectator can shuffle the cards, but maybe in this case it's not so important, right? So it's again really interesting for me to see how different performers place emphasis on different areas in a routine in order to come up with the perfect method, all right, that they feel suits them best for the effect. So all in all, it was a really good read, really simple to read as well, and I found, Steve's thoughts really interesting. It's really clever thinking, the way he has put everything together, really well thought out, and I think if you do, put in the effort and the time to prepare what you need to prepare to perform the routines from this booklet, then I'm sure, they will serve you really well. Alright, but that's all I have to say about All Out Magic by Steve Shafton. I want to thank Steve, for really kindly sending a copy of All Out Magic over to me so that I can read it, learn the material and chat about it with you guys on this show as well. If you would like to pick up a copy of All Out Magic for yourselves, I will leave the link to his website in the description box down below. But that's all for today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed it, got something out of it as well. Till the next episode of Nick Tan Chats, please do stay safe, take care of yourselves, have fun with your magic and your mentalism, and I will see you on the next one.